Hello everybody, Reggie Time here, playing some 25NL cash on Unibet. I did want to make a Sky Cash game video, but there's about 3 tables running, none of which looked particularly exciting, so I've just put £200 onto Unibet to play some cash and have some fun with some new limping strategy that I am keen to try out. I discussed it with my mentor, Mr. Dan. He's not totally against it. He thinks we should be doing lots of limp raising. I wasn't sure last night whether we should be or not, but now I thought about it and I think we probably should be. This is interesting straight off the bat. I mean, let's go, Ace King. Could be getting felted right off the bat here. Because obviously we're not folding after putting 32 big blinds in pre-flop. We are going to be folding the Jack 8 suited up here, and we take it down. That was nice. That was fun. I liked it. So yeah, I talked about it on the Sky Poker forum. My friend Juice, who is Juice Live, that was meant to be Juice Live tonight, but I ran out of characters. But he's a fucking nit, so I think Juice Live tonight is actually more appropriate name anyway. Apparently, is a more than 50% chance he's going to stream tonight, so do go along and catch that. Juicenberg123 on Twitch. Give him a search if you're not already following him. And yeah, he should be live tonight from around 7 o'clock with his brand of with his own personal brand of poker. So yeah, he's dead against it. He thinks it's fucking bonkers. He might be right. He's a sensible lad deep down when he's not getting pissed and rubbing his nipples. And quaffing champagne like the bourgeois cunt that he is. So yeah, he's against it. I was speaking to Dan, my current mentor. He doesn't think he's my mentor, but he fucking is. He tells me a lot of stuff that's useful. And he was kind of like, yeah, if you're limping, you got a mostly limp race. And I was kind of thinking, not sure I like that. But I was waiting for my son today. He's getting his first vaccine, and I was waiting while he was having it. And I just gave him some thought, like, how many combinations am I going to be limping? Wanting to raise. I'm going to be wanting to like limp raise, probably Queens plus, Ace King, Ace King suited, that type of thing. So there's lots of combinations there that I'm going to want to limp raise. So then we can, then we can probably start throwing some limp raise in with like 6-5 suited, 7-8, perhaps a pure suited connectors. Not going to be limping super wide. So probably I'm going to be like limp raising most of my range, possibly limp calling with like hands that aren't going to flop too well. Like are they going to flop really good or not, like pocket pairs and things. So going to be a few limp calls, mostly limp raises, very few limp folds, and then we're going to be doing that from like the first 2 seats, and then from that cut off on the bottom, we're just going to be playing a normal raising or folding situation. We're not going to be open limping, cut off some buttons. Probably going to be limping many small blinds too. So yeah, we're in limp territory, and it could go really well, could go really badly, but hopefully either way we can have some fun with it, and it can create some good discussion and give us all something different to think about. Go on, Zocky. Zocky knows the crack. Get limp in early position. Can't get 3-bet if you're limp, can you? Well, we did get 3-bet first hand, although we weren't the actual ones who were 3-bet. This guy was 3-bet. Right, I think we are going to overlimp the 3s here. We're not going to go with the ISO. That's something I probably would have been doing anyway pre my limp theory optimal strategy introduction. I've got around an hour and a half before I need to go out, and probably, unless it goes spectacularly badly, we're probably going to have the video lasting around that length. Maybe I'll stop playing around 1:30 so I can get it uploaded and whatever before I go out. So probably going to play for like an hour and a quarter. If this video doesn't last for an hour and a quarter, and you'll know that already, then you're probably some spoilers that things haven't gone great. So yeah, we'll see how we do. We put £200 on it. It was €233. So we got just over 10 buy-ins. Be very surprised if we lose 10 buy-ins in an hour and a quarter. But for those of you who watched my video the other week, I did lose just about 10 buy-ins in 45 minutes. So anything's possible. Anything is possible. If you don't subscribe to my video, notice lately that my videos are getting more views and more views since I started doing more Sky Triple Eight stuff, not doing the app stuff anymore, but not picking up that many extra subscribers. So so if you're not a subscriber but a regular viewer, do hit the subscribe button. Do hit the little bell that notifies you when new videos are arriving, and hit the like, the share, the subscribe. I don't make any money from YouTube. I actually think it's probably negative EV for me to do this stuff because I don't do coaching anymore. I'm not selling rate back. I just do it for my own, like, old man's pleasure, if you will. I just enjoy doing it. I guess I'm a little bit fucking narcissistic in that respect. So yeah, I'd like my videos to start getting 300 plus views, 400 plus views. So do hit the like, do share, do subscribe, do comment, etc. It'll just make me a little bit happier. 3-bet the king queen there, and we got it through. We're limping the tens here. We've been 4-bet when we have ace queen, and we are going to throw it in the bin. We're going to lead the tens. Ace queen down here is a trivial fold when we get 4-bet. Don't even think it's worth discussing. 3-bet is obviously completely fine, and then the fold to the 4-bet seems completely fine too. I think we're just going to set mine here with the 8 versus the guy who's not reloading. Get a pretty disappointing flop. Jacks may well be the best hand here, might not be the best hand. I think Queen 3-4 though, we generally just want to be c-betting that. The pretty high frequency. And 1/3 pot seems more than reasonable. And we take it down. Happy days. Happy enough with that. When we have an overcard on the flop, we're not going to complain too much when we pick up the pot with the small c-bet. So I'm hoping for lots of opportunities to limp raise. I had the ace-5 suited or the ace-3 suited earlier. I haven't decided what I'm doing with them yet. So for the time being, I'm just going to fucking fold them because don't think we want to be limp raising them. Don't think we want to be limp calling. Maybe we can just like raise them ones and just like not 100% limp. Because I think we should be playing, but I don't want to. I really want them in a limp call or limp raise range. So maybe we just open stuff that we don't want to limp call or limp raise. Maybe we just open that. I don't know. Yeah, I think we'll try doing that. We'll try having some raises under the gun and only limp stuff that we're planning on limp raising. Yeah, we'll go with that. We'll just make up some shit on the hoof and we'll see how it goes. If these games seem reasonable, I might make like Unibet my cash gameplay of choice for the month. Sky's just been rubbish for cash the last few weeks whilst they've been running this double point pro where they've extended that into July now. So I'm not expected to get better. There's times when you can get in some good games, but the traffic's low during the day. Night it's pretty fucking reg intensive. So maybe, who knows? You never know with me. I can go from fucking, I mean, I was on Triple Eight last month, did all right for like a week and a bit, then did a bit shit and came off it because I thought the games were just shit, and I just sort of ran really hot for a short period of time. I think I won about $1,000 overall, but there was an awful lot of just run good in there. If I'm being completely honest, we're going to limp call with the fours. We get a pretty moderate flop, so we're going to just check fold. 3.6x with the king, from someone who's not reloading. This is exciting. I think we might have the best hand here with the fours, but there's no real point in betting. He's made this pretty big here. We're going to go pretty big with our 3-bet too. Ask him to put 10 more blinds in. Maybe he wants to put even more than 10 more blinds in. Who knows? Pocket fours here. Might be the best hand. We're just going to fold though. Here we've got kind of good news, bad news flop. Guess we should probably be c-betting this with our entire range. Probably can bet call here as long as he doesn't go huge. Wouldn't like to be raised. Wouldn't be a lot of fun. He does raise and he raises small. I don't like this, but we're not going to fold. And we pick up some additional equity on the turn. I mean, I guess we're just check calling all in here. I guess. Don't like it though. But I guess we're just check calling a shove. He does check back. Now I'm less inclined to check call a shove on the river. Really no value in betting. I mean, what does he raise a flop with? Probably just an ace. Probably just an ace. Maybe we just check fold here. King 9. Happy days. Happy, happy days. We'll take that. No idea what his flop raise was all about, but clearly it was just a reaction to, well, I'm saying no idea. I know exactly what it was all about. Just a reaction to my small bet, I would imagine. I'm going to limp raise these 10s here. Probably get them in. Just calls. Guess again, we just go with the smallish c-bet. Game we get raised. I'm not sure we need to continue with our 10s here. Again, this doesn't make a whole bunch of sense here with the nut flush draw we're going to call. Doesn't make a lot of sense, but we're going to struggle to get to showdown, so we're just going to fold now. Do we lead out here? No, we're going to try and check raise. I think it's going to check through a lot, but I'd like to try and get a check raise in against someone who's got like the second nuts or what have you. I'm just going to hope he's got like the queen here, and we're going to go relatively big. He's folding. Oh, he's calling. He caught with the 8. Maybe we could have got a larger bet called there then. Limp the 9s. Woohoo! 10 bonus points. Living the fucking dream. I guess we're back at the start of the second time we've been 4-bet when we 3-bet ace queen, which is somewhat disappointing. Flopping over pair in the limped pot. Probably just try and value bet 3 streets if possible. King Jack's going to be a limp. This might pop into a limp call range. Don't think I want to limp raise this hand. Nine, 10, ace, flop. Let's have a good shot. I think I'll be doing some check raising here if it wasn't a two-tone flop. He does bet small. I'm going to call here and I'm going to lead some interesting turns. Red ones and queens, ideally. Or a 10. 10 could be good. 10 could be good to lead. Let's see. We have way more 10x than he has. He doesn't isolate with all his 10x. He doesn't c-bet with his 10x very often. Happy days. Happy fucking days. Probably not going to be too many cash game videos this month. I'm going to be trying to do 3 MML videos per week. Maybe Thursday will be the only day I really have time to make cash game videos. Then from mid-July onwards, my working week gets a lot longer because schools will be breaking up and I have an increased day job workload, which is just fine. It's perfect time of year. You know, my day work gets busier at the times of year when online poker typically struggles to get traffic. So those two, not by design, of course, but they mesh together very nicely. It's okay. July, August, probably not going to make too much money from poker, but good stuff. My day work hours double, so I don't need to make as much money from poker. It's nice. It's nice the way it's a happy coincidence. Three betting the queens. We will not be folding to a four bet if we encounter one. Limping the sixes because that's what we do these days. Queens gets through. Not going to see bet here. Well, not going to bet here. No set, no bet. We're going old school. No set, no bet. Especially not against somebody who calls river check raises with like the 20th nuts. Do let me know what your thoughts on limping are. I believe some solvers enjoy limping. Sure, they'd enjoy limping and have far better, more balanced ranges for doing it than I do. And maybe they're just limping in anti games where the stacks are shorter. I don't fucking know because I've never been near a solver in my life. Um, but I don't think these games are going to be terrible for doing it in. I really don't. I don't think I'm going to put myself in like tons and tons of really shitty spots. And I think sometimes it will help me find value. I guess sometimes it won't. Not c betting here with no pair, no draw. Not set mining here with the eights, even though maybe we should. In position, I'd be more inclined to. Out of position, nah, we'll just get out of the way. Do we now just try and stab at this king on the river? I think we probably do. It's checked all the way through. We can credibly play some king x this way. And we take it down. Jack 8 is going to be an open. It's right on the borderline. We don't think we have to open it, but we're going to. The Ace 7 suited. I think we're going to go with the 3 bet here. Take that down. Give up with the Jack 7 over here. Of course, we're going to limp the 5s. We're going to complete the Queen 9 off versus this guy. We're going to flop trips, which is nice. And we're going to try a check raise. I think he's going to check through a lot when the button just open limps, but we'll try. A stab here with our pocket 5s in a heads up pot. Flop does check through here, which is irritating but not unexpected. Take it down with the stab with the 5s. Take it down with that bet there. Absolute red line masterclass so far, this video. Kind of, maybe. King Jack suited. Do we call or 3-bet this if he opens? We'll try a call. We'll flop a top pair. We're going to raise this C-bet. We don't have to raise it too big. Less than 3x. Easy fold if we get 3-bet. We do. Say it's an easy fold. I'm not feeling like doing it, but I think it probably is. Is it? Yep. Just fold. We'll just fold. That was something I was doing a lot on Triple Eight the other week. It was working really well, just raising C-bets in position, getting a lot of folds. We've been 3-bet here with the ace queen, going nowhere. And we're going to be going nowhere on that flop. We're going to be checking back this turn on the ace, whatnot. I'm going to raise this C-bet, and we're not going to fold this time. And we could just call, I guess, but fuck it. Call here. A6, chop it up, disappointing. We take it down this time with the ace queen. Flop raise. Probably just had the best hand, but maybe not. You know, have some pairs there that he's betting, then have to fold, I guess. Who knows? Who fucking knows? I clearly don't. Just mashing buttons, aren't we? Just mashing buttons and hoping to get lucky. I mean, maybe like Ray's calling it off there is fucking horrific. Because maybe he only jams when he's got like ace king plus, which isn't good news for us. I don't mind doing things that are theoretically unsound. Got to have a certain amount of creative license, haven't you, in life? Gonna 3-bet this ace queen. If we get 4-bet, that'll be the 4th time I think we've been 4-bet in not very long. He does just fold though. Might limp raise this ace 10 or might limp call it depending on what size he makes it. If he doesn't elect to raise, he doesn't. Just gonna stab the flop. 8, 8, 8. Again, we're just gonna stab the flop. I think when we limp blinds, we're entitled to just stab a lot of flops for like one small bet. And then only continue on turns that seem pretty good for us. In both these occasions, they don't seem very good for us, so we're going to shut down. We still have 2 overcards here, but we're not going to bet. And we could call here and just donk a club on the river, but I just don't think there's any need to go that deep into the toolbox in such a small pot. Got to play a pot with that. He might just give us his whole stack if we flop a set. I've been watching um, some hand histories in various different groups lately, and what I've been noticing is people getting in lots of trouble in spots where they've defended their big blind, and I think, just my opinion, in these pretty high rate, pretty nitty environments, defending your big blind um, quite fiercely is possibly one of the biggest leaks of microstakes, cash game regs, and losing players. Um, I don't think. I mean, I don't think many people are opening super wide from cutoffs and buttons. Some are, but not many. At the average pool, probably opening 25% average from the cutoff, maybe opening 40% on average from the button. And then, if people are 2.5, 3xing in a no ante game in a high rake environment, I just don't think. I think too many players defend too many hands that just give them too many post flop problems. So they defend hands that they're probably not going to play very profitably, especially when you take rake into account. And then not only do they lose money, they also lose a shit ton of confidence as well. Because they just can't seem to get a win. Like, fuck, I'm just not winning. I'm just not winning in the long term. I'm just not winning at this game. And like having a exaggeratedly bad win rate from the big blind. So if you're losing 45 bigs 100 from the big blind because you're not defending appropriately and then playing quite badly, that's going to be really, really hard to overcome um, long term. It's we're always going to lose from the blinds. If we're losing too much, just say we're losing 30 bigs 100 from the small blind or 25 bigs and 45 bigs 100 from the big blind, then all of a sudden, we're going to have to do an awful lot of winning from the non-blind spots to even get to break even. Um, so yeah, I'm a blind overfolder, and I think it actually does me more good than harm. We are going to see bet here with the nut flush draw because we can take some heat if we decide to try and put some on us. Pick up a good shot, but it's to the shit end. Really bad card to barrel. We're just going to check back here and try and realise our equity, which we do not do. Well, we do. We've realised all of our equity. It's just now we've got fucking no equity. So we'll just fold. Pretty big ISO, right? I don't think we need to be doing too much versus that. And this is exactly the situation I was talking about. Queen 8 suited. It's a pretty marginal hand, and the man's 3x it from the cutoff. Now, if we're going by our ranges, we think if he's like most regs, he's only opening 25% of hands here, then Queen 8 suit is not doing very well. Without a position, it's a 3x, and it's a even though Unibet rake is probably as fair as you can find anywhere on internet poker at the microstakes, it's still a relatively high rake environment. So I'm just going to fold it. If you're 2.5x it there, I think it's probably a call. Versus the min raise, it's definitely a call. But versus the 3x, um, I mean, I could be convinced it's maybe a marginally plus EV call, but not by a lot. And if we start ticking those hands and three betting them, then we're just going to be three betting way too often. So yeah, that's a hand I expect most of my peers to defend, and I expect most of them are losing money by doing so. And maybe they lose slightly less by defending it than they do by just folding it, but then they have that the knock we talked about earlier, that the knock-on effect on how badly it really affects their confidence long term, because they look at the end of the month, the end of the week, the end of the year, and they're just like, well, I'm not making money from poker. And my guess is, as I said earlier, if you're a half decent regular but you're not making money, my guess is you're losing it all in the blinds. Blinds. If I was coaching you, blinds would be the first thing I would look at, and I'd be like, let's just improve our blind play, because that's the most likely area that you're leaking the most in. You might not feel like it because you might think there's a lot of mandatory defense that you happen to make, but my guess is that will be the area where you are like losing the most money, almost for certain. 10-9 suited. Don't want a three bet versus this stack depth, so we're gonna try and take a flop and hope not to get squeezed. Maybe we call if this guy squeezes and this guy doesn't jam. We flop a gut shot multi-way. This table's going a bit to rat shit, so we might have to. We'll give it a few minutes, and if it doesn't fill up, then we'll join the new table. Um, we're going to stab small here, like 1/3 pot's completely fine in a spot like this. You know, we're only trying to get people to fold some pretty rubbish hands that might have us beat. Not trying to get anyone to fold anything good. And we do have some equity if we do get called with our gut shot. And perhaps our 10 and 9 are good too. This guy check calls 6 on the turn's not a good barrel card. He does lead the turn, which is probably pretty standard. I want to raise here. I want to raise. I just don't believe this guy. Just don't believe him. I think it's a spot where lots of regs just know they lead now. Like one of the lower cards on the flop pairs, and I mean I should have seen better. I've totally lost concentration on the ace-5, and they just know like, oh, when the board pairs one of the undercards on the turn, it's a good spot to lead 1/3 pot. Something a lot of regs do. There's not that much you can do about it a lot of the time, but I think with a gut shot there, and just the fact that it's a common line I see these days, and I think quite a lot of regs are just like overusing it. I mean maybe this guy's not a reg, I don't know, but when we have a gut shot and he's only made it 1/3 pot, so we have a relatively cheap raise. I think it's worth doing at least some of the time. Again, that could be pretty spewy. I like it because it worked, but maybe we just got very lucky, and maybe I should just never be doing that, but who fucking cares? I'm never going to be anywhere near a perfect poker player. I've always kind of just been like, instinctive. That looks a bit like bullshit, so let's see if it is bullshit. I've always been that kind of guy. Um, Sometimes it works really well and you feel like a genius. Other times it goes horribly wrong and you feel like an utter moron. We're going to again stab here with 2 overcards. It's not the best of flops for us. Pretty good flop for a big blind defend, but again we can just take a small stab and go from there. Got to be out there competing, competing for pots and trying to make your mark post up. I'm much happier when I'm playing in games where we get to post up with relatively high SPRs, where you can get a little bit fruity in spots where you kind of know how regs play, you kind of know how they think. I think post flop is the weakest part of most regs games. I think a lot of regs, in fact, probably most regs are way better drilled than me in the pre-flop streets. I think in the post-flop streets, many of them are significantly worse than me. So I try and find my edge in single raised, like high SPR post-flop spots more than pushing thinner pre-flop edges. I think we're going to just block this river with the king. Not expected to get raised. I mean, maybe we do when we use that size, but take it down. Call with the 10s. Do not flop a set. I think it's call once here and just give up thereafter. No reason to raise here. Now we can't give up probably. For obvious reasons. For those of you who aren't too familiar with card removal, obviously the more Queen X there is in the board, the less Queen X you can have in your hand. It does size up a little bit here, which makes me feel a little bit nervous. But I just don't think we can fold once the Queen pairs. We might end up just paying off here. Not going to pay off on this river though. I think we have a very easy just check now. I mean, he checks pretty quickly, so he's either giving up or he's got there with his ace, whatever. King 10 just gives up. Lovely. Another 10 bonus points. Fucking get in. This is why we're here. We're here for the. I'm all about the bonus points. That's what I am all about. And they are fucking raining on me today. They're making it rain with the bonus points, the good people of Unibet. And I, for one, am absolutely delighted about that. It's what we all play for, isn't it? We don't play for the glory. We don't play for the money. We don't play for the intellectual challenge. We just play for bonus points. What do points make? Well, if you're my age, you'll know the answer to that. I'm not going to say what they make. Comment below. First person to comment below with what do points make. I'll send you a £5 or $5 tournament buy-in for the first person to comment below with the answer to what the points make. I'm going to give you £5 or $5 depending on where you play to play a tournament. And if you do well in that tournament, tell me when the rules are. You have to tell me when you're playing the tournament, so I can potentially rail you. And if you do well in it, you have to give me 20% of any cash over £50. How's that for a deal? The bowler frog goes with his chunky seabed here. We don't really care because we've totally missed. Getting pins and needles in my left arm here. For those of you who don't know, I do play laying down. When I play, I often just prop myself up on my elbow. That sometimes gives me pins and needles in my left little pinky, which is what I've got going on right now. A limp raises king queen, I think. You can like ISO with some worse hands. Or some better hands that then want to fold. Like if he ISOs me with ace 10 with limp raise, he probably pitches it. And that's a good result for us. This guy 3x's, we're going to 3-bet. If you're less than 3x's, we're going to call. A 3-bet here to around 8.5x. That seems good enough. That seems good enough. Again, maybe this could be something we just put in a raising range. Now we're going to try limp raising. I think it could be a horrendous hand to do it with. Yeah, this should just have been a raise. This is not a hand that I want to be putting in a limp raising range. Yeah, this one's a fuck up. Well, now we're here. Got to try. Whoops. Whoops a daisy. That didn't go well, did it? 3-bet to around 13 bigs here. Flat the king 10 of diamonds on the button. Hope not to get squeezed. Flat the queen jack suited here. Now, well, up to the races, I hope. Oh, well, we're crushing him. We're going to float here. And we're going to raise this turn. He snap barrels big. Good for you, mate. We're going to raise, I think. And then just going to raise to a size that commits us. Check call. Check again. He folds. Happy days. And we river a flush over here. And I don't think he's going to bet this river very often whatsoever. Don't think he's going to call very often either, so we're just going to go big for the times that he does call. Does have something he can call with. I mean, I think that's just going to check a lot. If a check, when I bet, he's just going to fold a lot. I get all of that. So if I think he's just not going to call very often, then I'm just going to bet big for the the one in whatever times that he does have a hand he can call with. If he's pot controlled, say aces or something on the turn there, maybe he just decides he has to call the river because he checked the turn. Something like that. Ace Queen is going to be a 3-bet versus a 3x. Again, to around 13 big blinds. Not c-bet in the 936 rainbow. Oh, we won with the Ace King, by the way. That was nice. Again, similar deal as before. 3-bet to around 13 bigs against this guy's 3x open. 4-bets will be jamming, of course. Not loving it. I'm not one that really wants to get Ace King in premium. We just have to call here and whatever. Same hand. And it's going to be a chop. Anyone who's like done some work pre-flop, because I don't know if his jam is really shit there, if it's okay. I mean, I only made it 12 bigs. He's just stuffed 100 bigs in as a 4-bet. I mean, is just ripping 100 bigs there? Is it appropriate? I mean, it feels really shit to me, but I could be very wrong. Like, it could actually be completely fine. So yeah, anyone who's done that kind of work, don't just be like, well, yeah, obviously it's fine. If you just have an opinion, then great, tell me your opinion. But if you actually can back it up with some work you've done, then even better. I'd like to know, is that 100 big blind rip over a 12.6 big blind 3-bet, is that reasonable? Oh, we get a limp race spot. Happy days. We don't have too many of them. Only we don't get to. Never mind. I hope this recording's still actually fucking working. Yes, it is. That just dipped off my screen. So that's good. Now it's come back on my screen when I don't really want it to fucking be there, but I was concerned that the recording wasn't working. Limp 4x. We're going to let the 7.5 go to the 4x. 3-bet this to around 10 bigs. A nice flop, but it's, our opponent could certainly have some piece of this. He could be ahead of us by now. I'm going to actually bet this pretty big. I think we'll probably have to call it off, but I won't be loving it. Happy just to take it down there. Don't want to bet small there and just have like a queen, a 10, another 9 or a jack roll off. Happy to just try and play a big one straight away or take it down. Queen Queen 9 off. Not a lover of opening that on the button, but something's got to be close to the bottom of your range, and Queen 9 off is it. Some backdoors here. We're just going to take a stab. Not surprised to get raised. King Jack suited in the small blind versus a 3x. I'm doing a bit of 3-bet at this table, but you've got a hand that I think we probably should 3-bet again. Don't like 3-betting these hands when I've been active with like some genuinely good 3-betting hands. Then you find one like this that you kind of want to 3-bet again, but you worry that people are paying attention to your frequencies and maybe might start playing back a little bit. But you can't really let that affect you. And the big blind there I would have just flatted, but I don't want to flat from the small. Not with that hand. I don't mind doing some flatting from the small blind, but King Jack suited wouldn't be one of the ones that I would want to do it with. Go with a limp raise with the ace jack. No, we're not. We flop a good shot of a little stab. Called. Gonna barrel this turn because we can bet clubs on the river too. And we can still hit a 10. We're not going to barrel this river. We are now done with it. He bets tiny. Good for him. Nice answer. Can't win them all. Ooh, ace king suited. Limp race incoming. I reckon Nuts One Bucks will go for this as well because he does like, he's a regular, he's pretty damn aggro. He's gone with a big ISO. I like that. Well, I think I like it. I might not like it in a minute. I might not like what's about to happen to me, but we're going to do it anyway. Normally I'd want to go like 13x here, but he's gone a bit bigger, so we're going to size up a little bit. He calls, we get a delightful flop. Bet at 1/3 pot. And he snap folds. We've reached a new level in our royalty status. Given I'm not really a royalist, not against them, but I'm not a royalist. I'm not sure I like improving my royalty status, but we've done it anyway, and we got 15 more bonus points. Fucking crushing the bonus point game today. Fucking crushing it. Can't wait to get the €4 ticket that I'm never going to use. That'll be marvellous. We'll get a 4L cash game ticket at some point, and we're never going to use it. Limp in the tens. A little stab on the mono flop. Don't expect to get raised too often here. If we do, against this player who I think might be aggressive, we might have been starting to get a little bit stubborn. Keeping my eye on the clock, we're probably going to go for another 25 minutes or so. These games seem better than the Sky Cash games at this time of day. Traffic's certainly better. Obviously, we could be a lot of the same people, but there's 76 bums seated here. That's maybe up to 25 players, possibly. 25 unique players. There's nowhere near that on Sky at the moment. I'm going to be 3-betting the Ace King here on table 3. Calls, and again we flopped really well in a 3-bet pot, and again we're going to go around 1/3 pot. And again we just take it down. I have to check call here on the turn. Maybe I have to check call the river. Or he's just going to show his king 3 down. Probably reasonable. Don't know. I mean, it's a limped pot. Who really gives a shit? Defend the Jack 10 suited. If he bets big here, we're going to fold. If he bets small, we're going to call. He's gone half pot. Not loving it. But I think we have to call 1. He does check. I'm going to just try and check this down. If he bets river, we're probably folding. I don't see an awful lot of reason for betting here. Obviously, we want to try and protect against like a jack and ace or a king, but whatever. He checks again, so I suspect we're just going to win. Yep. Maybe we could have got some microscopically thin value there on the river, but yeah. I think like one of the leaks of my game is I don't think I bet thinly enough on the river, especially against regulars. I'm always that little bit fearful of a race coming in. So yeah, it's definitely something I could improve upon. I've been aware of that for a long time. It doesn't seem to hurt me that much, and I still make decent amount of money playing these games. That is certainly an area that I could and probably should try and improve on a little bit. A6 suited. Do we want to 3-bet this hand? I don't think so. I'm not much of a pre-flop warrior. I do like getting warriorish with pocket queens though. Feel emboldened when I get pocket queens. If this guy opens, or maybe we just flat because I don't really want to play queens in a spot where if he 4-bets me and we're deep, he could get particularly uncomfortable. Again, that's my inner Nick coming out. This is the guy who didn't fold much earlier, isn't it? So we're going to check back 1 and then go up with 2 biggish streets of value if he checks again. So the guy who called us the 8 high flush earlier, I think it's him anyway. He goes with the overbet here, which is Interesting. Can't fold just yet. Oh, it's again, this is one of those spots where I'd hate to be raised, but we're gonna bet. Gonna bet and just hope he calls. Please don't raise. Please don't raise. I wouldn't like it if you raised. Oh, he folds. That's okay. I'd be sad if he raised there. Because I already know I'd be calling, and I already know I'd be fucked. But given we've just talked about like a slight leak of not value betting rivers thinly enough, then to just check back a river set there, even though there's a four liner out there, I think when he overbets turn, he can have some two pairs that might just cry call. Don't think he has a straight that often because I think he probably just bets a game with the straight. Who knows though? Who knows what's going on in the world of Attis 10? Who fucking knows? Does Attis 10 even know what's going on? Action. The reg gets it in really bad and then flops a shit ton of equity and misses. We like to see that. Nothing against Nuts One Bucks, who I think's probably a winning reg in these games. He never changed his fucking screen name, which is a bit strange, but yeah, we're never nothing against him personally, but I mean, if we ever wanted someone to win that pot, it's always going to be the guy who we think's a recreational player. Three bet the ace queen. So things have gone pretty smoothly so far. I haven't had too much limp raise opportunity, which is a shame. I was hoping to get more opportunities to do that, but never mind. Fuck me, I'm starting to get hot. Got my headset on. I've started to get just a little bit on the warm side. The sun's coming out. Forgot to open the windows before I started, so there's just no air movement in the room. Air is not circulating. The wife's not a fan of me opening the windows anyway because she's paranoid the cat's going to creep out of the tiniest fucking crack, which she wouldn't do, but she's not a fan. Talking of fans, I could have brought the fan downstairs before I started. We have like a big fan. We normally just keep upstairs in the spare room, but too late for that now. We just have to sit and suffer for another 15 minutes or so. I guess 15, 20 minutes. But fuck me, it's just started to get a little bit clammy. It's 9 off. Probably defend this in some way. But I'm not going to because I can't be asked. It's ace 9 off suit. I mean, maybe we should just fucking 3-bet that all the time, but don't want to, so I'm not going to. These small blind limps don't get attacked very often, do they? Which makes you think when they do get attacked, they're probably just getting attacked by a pretty strong hand. King, queen off on the button. See, I don't know if this should be a 3-bet or a flat. So it's going to flat. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I guess if we knew more about our opponent, we could make a more informed decision there. Here's C-bet this flop. We have backdoor flush draw, backdoor straight draw, 2 overcards. We're going to have a little float here. Now we're going to have a little raise. And we're going to get there on the river with the second nut flush on a paired board. And I'm just going to be a total fucking wimp and check behind. And he just had Queen Jack. Happy days. Three bet, we have an ace 7, and we are going to have a fold. Couldn't have been 3 bet if I limped, could I? Motherfucker, should have limped it. Can't 3 bet a limp, you fuckwit. Bastards. Fucking bastards 3 betting pre flop against Under the Gun. Fucking wankers. Bukake. What a thoroughly charming name for the poker screen name. Not a fan of Bukake. Not a fan of it. I'm a fan of a lot of things that are adult themed, but Bukake wouldn't be one of them. Seven, please, dealer. Don't squeeze. Don't squeeze, because that just makes you a cunt. Well, he didn't squeeze, but we didn't flop a set. It's a very large 3 bet. I like defending versus 3 bets, but I'm not defending 6 high to a 10 big blind 3 bet. Maybe when because people like him, I know he's a good reg, he 3 bets a lot. Maybe we could just open limp his fucking buttons with some hands that just want to see a flop, and then raise hands that are happy to continue versus 3 bets, maybe. Especially in a site like this where every single day you can be someone different. So he wouldn't really catch on to that. Maybe I'm going to try mixing that in. Maybe on Sky too, against like some of the more aggressive 3 betting regs. Just limp buttons. What are you going to do about that, you fuckers? Because I couldn't give a fuck about stealing. I mean, stealing a cash game, great. You know, wow, I've stolen 1.5 big blinds. Isn't that fucking wonderful? I'm going to give him a chance to squeeze here, and we're going to flat the kings. Didn't, but run like Reg. Run like fucking Reg. Check, check. Bet small. 3 bet the queens here. We've been check raised. We've got what is basically the nuts. Just have a 5, mate. Gonna fold the queens to the under the gun 4 bet. Bite me. If you don't like that, you can bite me. I don't give a fuck. He checks again, which tells me he's got a big pile of fuck all. So we're going to give him one last chance to either improve or bluff. And he doesn't. So we know now he has got fuck all. Oh, I just don't even know what size to go here. We'll just do that. We'll just do that. And he folds. Never mind. Limpy dimpy. Limpy wimpy woo. Ten, 9, 6. He's going to see bet. We're going to call. He's not going to see bet. Gonna bet smallish here. Don't think we're gonna fold. No, he just snap check folds. Can do with this table filling up. I think it feels like it's all regs. I fucking hate set mine in middle position. We're just gonna get squeezed too often, but we'll give it a go anyway. Against this player, ace king's just a mandatory 4-bet shove. We'll get the reload ready. Of course, he has aces. No run like reg today. Oh, there is a chance of a run like reg. Oh, we didn't get there. I mean, this guy is loose and aggressive, but right, here's a little rant before we sign out for the day. You know, all these aggro regs, I still think 4-bet bluffs are just not a fucking thing. Even with that, the pretty aggro, irritating regs. I mean, nothing we can do with ace king there. We just have to get it in. I get that. I'm not complaining about that. It's just a cooler. But, yeah, you're not loving it. You're not loving it because ultimately, micro stakes regs, they're still fucking nits when all's said and done, aren't they? Most of them. We get 4-bet here. We just sad face fold again. Yeah, regs. This is why I prefer playing a more small ball game pre-flop and then just keeping SPRs low because you know I don't think there's a great deal of edge to be found in like the pre-flop 3-bet 4-bet game in these games because people are so nitty to begin with. Maybe you can have a few more 4-bet bluffs and get a few folds from some bottom of range 3-bets, etc. But that isn't, in my opinion, pre-flop is not where you find your edge at the micro stakes. You know, you find it post-flop, high SPR against people who basically have learned poker from a chart and then haven't done an awful lot of work on post flop. And there are some guys out there, because I've talked to some guys, there are some guys out there putting lots of study into post flop. And they stand out like a sore thumb at the tables because they're just doing things, they're just making life really tough for you a lot of the time, post flop as well. Whereas lots of these regs like make my life tough pre flop, and I get that they've got an edge on me in the pre flop game. There's not that many regs who make life too difficult for me post flop in these in the micro stakes because they're just nowhere near as fucking good. There's a huge drop off in their ability from that pre flop. They're pretty good. They're pretty well drilled. They definitely have edge, and then post flop, whoosh, they just drop off. If say they're like A minus to B plus pre flop, they're like pretty much C minus post flop, which is why I am not a huge fan of the whole 3-bet 4-bet get it in thing. But I mean the ace king against someone who does play a pretty aggressive pre-flop game is obviously just mega standard. Just annoying because I'm not get 100 bigs all in pre-flop. That's just not just not how I do things. It's not my game. River a flush. Hope he doesn't bet. Yeah, just going to check back. 10-8. Don't really miss much value there. And I limp the ace jack suited and raise. If we face one. We don't. Flop an ace. And what's our 20 past 2? So we're going to leave next big blind at all tables. I believe you do that by clicking that button and then leave. Oh, we'll just sit out next big blind at all tables. Ah, right, it's doing it for all tables anyway. That's okay. This river, do we want to bet this river? Do we want to check and let him bluff? I think we want to bluff catch, I think, with the ace jack. Or let him value a bit worse. And then we'll do some maths. I mean, I think we had a winning session anyway. I think we were on for a good winning session before. And I know it's aces versus kings, so it's not. Sorry, ace versus ace, it's not a flip, but effectively it's a flip in terms of like range versus range. There, by that I mean like if it was the other way around, if I had the aces, he had the ace king, then it would have gone exactly the same way. So it's in range versus range terms it's a flip. So if we didn't have that flip, we would have had like a good winning session. I think it's just going to turn out to be a moderate winning session. So we're going to play no more hands. Let's have a look at the bankroll. So we start with 233. We've got 252. So we made 22 euros. I can live with that. Bearing in mind, let's say we lost a big cooler. Otherwise, we would have better plus 40 odd euro session, which would have been pleasant. So I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Please do get involved in the comments, either on Facebook if you see it there, or beneath the video on YouTube. Please, if you got this far, don't forget to hit the like button. If you haven't already subbed, please sub. Just click share and share it to your social media. If you're on Twitter or whatever, just fucking share it. It doesn't hurt you, does it? So yeah, do all of those things, and I would really appreciate it. But for now, we're going to leave it there. Hope you guys have a good weekend. I'm hopefully going to be back tomorrow. I'm going to play some micro stakes tonight, but some micro stakes tournaments. But I'm not starting till the 8 o'clock tournaments because I'm working till 7:30 with Quinn. So maybe I'll get enough content to make a video tomorrow. Maybe I won't. I'm hoping to make one tomorrow, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. But take care, everybody. Have a good night, and don't forget to catch Juice if he's on. Take care, and bye bye for now.